Welcome back for another week of DFS PGA. This week we got the Shell Houston Open. We're going to look at a couple of my top picks outside of the ones that I wrote about at dfsr.com in my article. I will reference them throughout the thing, but I won't talk about them as much. We're going to use the sheet, the main sheet, as well as the trend sheet to go over a couple things I added on the trend sheet and then a couple of players on the sheet. So when you click on that, it's going to open the sheet, and the first thing you're going to want to do every week is create your own by going to make a copy, name it whatever you want, click OK. It's going to open you same cheat sheet in another tab, and you're going to be able to edit it, sort rows, make your own models, that kind of thing. So this week you can see my model up here, kind of the stats that I'm looking at. These are the stat rankings for the field. Scroll back over, these are the raw stats for those rankings that you've seen over there to the right. Players in green are the ones I wrote about in the article, so if you want to reference them, like I said, just head back to the article, take a look at the guys I wrote about there. The blue guys are the ones I'm going to mention here, a couple in each range that I'm going to go over that are my favorite plays. For GPP, I'm pretty much a GPP only player, so these are going to be some of the other plays I'm going to be using in GPP. Starts with Justin Rose. He's number 3 in my model this week. He fits really well statistically. Finished 37th here 2 years ago. His ownership's probably going to be down a little bit more in this range. It's kind of what I like about him the best, I guess you could say. Ricky Fowler, JB Holmes are probably going to be 2 of the top 3 in ownership this week overall, possibly, even especially in the top range. Rose has shown top 5 potential this year. Pretty much just came down to his putter not getting him the win. So, as we know, putter can kind of come on one week, so take a GPP flyer with him as well. Adam Scott doesn't fit the model. It doesn't look like statistically at 40th, but that's just because of his course history. He hasn't played here in the last 5 years, and that's all my cheat sheet is looking at, so he automatically goes to 150. Now, something you can do when you open your own is you can take, he did win here in 2007, so he does have some good finishes here. He withdrew, and then a T14, I think, in 2011. So you can kind of make your own average up, say 35, pretty round number, put them around that Justin Rose range. You can kind of compare them that way then if they had the same course history. Automatically boost Scott right up to 2nd in the model. So these are just a few adjustments you can do with the sheet. So you can do that as well with the stats. So the European Tour guys that don't have a lot of these strokes gained stats and stuff like that, they just go down to the bottom of the rank, so it may affect their overall weighted rankings. Well, you can play with those if you want. If you think he would be 60th in strokes gained off the tee, you can adjust that. It's going to affect the model depending on if you've got these weighted ranks at the top set for that column. So if you're ranking tee to green, say even 60% or something, and you're looking at a guy like Henrik Stenson, well, I know he's not 150th. Definitely would be probably, I'm thinking like top 20 for sure. You can adjust him there, and it's going to adjust his overall weighted ranking as well. So you can just kind of get a truer feel of your model. So it's pretty open. Once you open your own, you can pretty much do what you want. The 8K range is where it kind of took me the most to make my decision this week. I was on Russell Hanley early. He ranks 5th in the overall model. But I got looking at Fanshare Sports and searching around on Twitter, and he's been mentioned a lot this week. He's got a 5th, 4th, and 7th course history. I think you can get the same player almost in Charles Howell at 5 to 10% less ownership. Similar course history. Similar stats even. And at $200 cheaper. So I think Charles Howell makes sense there. Charlie Hoffman, he's just playing really well. He fits, looking at Future of Fantasy's Texas course history, it kind of lists the top 25 of the last 3 or 4 years on the Texas courses. Charlie Hoffman's right there near the top, so seeing him coming in good form, plus having some nice course history in Texas is good to see, and I think I'll jump on board him as well. I think you can kind of get them at, like I said, 5 to 10% less ownership than Henley, so I'd be doing a lot of stacking in a balanced lineup. Obviously, my favorite play is Nick Watney in this range, and then dipping down to the 7K range. I talk about Patrick Reed a little bit here in a bit. Kyle Stanley at 7,400. Statistically, he's been elite this year. He's had a really good year. He's made 9 out of his 11 cuts with the top 10 and 4 top 25s, 5 top 25s actually. So He's playing really well. He finished top 20 here last year. Like I said, with the form and his stats, he just kind of checks everything off. So that's why you see him up there in 17th. So I'll have a lot of exposure to him. Not really a whole lot of guys coming down here. Like Tony Finau, he's also in the top 5 most tagged golfers with no sit recommendations on Fanshare Sports. It'll be risky if he's that high out. You're going to want to make sure you have more than the field if you're using him, so I definitely will. He's a little bit different player than he was, when he finished 82nd and 42nd. He fits the model statistically for sure. Current form is there. He's 40. Vegas has got him at 45 to 1, so I mean that's the lowest odds going all the way up, I believe. Yeah, right there. You're inside Billy Horschel at that 7,700, so definitely have some Tony Finau this week. Talked about Stroud and Lovemark in the article. Schneiderjans and Wiesberger fit this week. What stood out the most was their DK dollar to odds differential. Wiesberger 66 to 1 to win. Schneiderjans was 90 to 1 to win, and they're sitting in the 6,700 range, sub down in that, I think, 94th in salary, 93rd in salary area. Wiesberger had a top 30 here in his only appearance. Schneiderjans has never played here. He has shown some top 10 upside this year, and he might be a little bit lower owned than Wiesberger, but I think both make good plays. Down at the very bottom, another player that plays well and ranks good on that Future of Fantasy Texas course history is Kyle Reifers. 7th, 11th, and 21st. He's played here 3 times in the last 5 years, so that's really good course history here. And he's coming off a top 20 at the Puerto Rico Open, so he's coming in with form as well. Strokes gained statistics, nothing really stands out with him. But moving over a bit, he's got some good greens and regulation stats, top 30 and 3 different distances there. Good drive percentage, he's top 20 as well. So, I mean, for 6,400 minimum price, near minimum price on FanDuel, minimum price on DraftKings, I think he makes a great GPP play, especially if you're trying to fit 2 high-end guys in your lineup, Spieth and another 10K, 9K guy. Next, we're going to take a look at the trend sheet and a couple things I added this week. First one was every player in the field, and it shows their average salary, average GPP ownership, and average DK points. So I'm going to sort this one here. So just another way to kind of maybe try and find some value. Jordan Spieth, like for instance, even though he's always high priced, ranks number 1 in salary this year, but he's been 9th in GPP ownership since the Tournament of Champions and 3rd in DK points. So that's just kind of the value it's showing you there. Rory McIlroy is another one, 20th in GPP ownership, 6th in DK points. So just another way to try and find some value. The big one this week, though, is going to be I'm going to sort this by salary this week. It's the salary trend tab. So there's you guys for this week. So I added the this week versus season average. So this is their season average coming into the week. This is their salary this week, and then this is just the difference between the two. So the biggest one is Adam Scott being about $1,200 less than his season. Patrick Reed is one of the biggest as well at nearly $1,500 below his season average. So these are going to be good GPP plays because most of the guys that are going to see a drop in price are going to be there because of form. And it does hold true with Reed and Walker. So they're good GPP plays. Peter Uline's kind of an outlier because last week was his first tournament, his Puerto Rico Open, and he was in that 10K range, top 4 in salary. So he's probably around where he's going to be if he was, to play 4 or 5 tournaments and have a more accurate average. Duffner, Finau, and Bradley all dropped nearly $500 this week. I like them quite a bit, all 3 of them in that range. Ryan Palmer, Chris Stroud, same thing. Ryan Palmer's also good at Texas as well. Jamie Lovemark talked about him in the article. And then there's quite a few guys. So that's just another way to look at it. You can also sort this column, A to Z, and you can look at them that way. And like I said, these should mostly be considered as GPP plays because more than likely their form isn't going to be there. And that's kind of where Adam Scott stands out to me this week because his form has been pretty good. He's kind of at that salary where he kind of needs a top 5 in DK points to pay it off, and I think he can do that, especially under $1,200. If you have any questions about any of the guys I maybe didn't cover, on either of the sheets, or any questions about the sheet or anything at all, you can hit me up by going down, commenting on the bottom of the article. You can also join the chat room. So if you go to menu, chat, NHL, PGA, NASCAR chat, it'll open the chat window specifically for those three sports, because they're the niche sports, you could say, and that's where you'll find me most days, 2 to 3, 4 hours a day. I'll be there tonight as well. You can also hit me up on Twitter at Jaeger_bombs9. Thanks for listening to the video. Make sure to hit that like button, helps out a lot. And we'll see you for NASCAR videos in a few days, and another PGA video coming up. Probably going to release the Masters one Sunday, Monday, somewhere in that range. Get it out a little bit earlier to you guys. Look at, I'm going to break it down a little more. Probably going to be twice as long, 20-minute video, something like that, and going to break down a few extra players kind of in every range so we can get that $1 million. Cheers, everybody.